You are in the right place today if you are ready to learn about on-stage answer. Now, one of the things that I love about our guest today is how she seamlessly knocked it out of the park with her on-stage answer to a question that, a lot of my clients, as they go through their on-stage answers, they feel like, oh, that was the perfect question for me. Like they asked me the perfect question. And I often am like, was that though? Like, I don't know if that was the perfect, for Deborah, who you're going to meet today, I don't know that was like the perfect question for her. What I think happened was just that she was so well prepared that she would have been able to answer any question. But I'm excited to get her take on it because believe it or not, she and I have not actually reflected. I was like, don't tell me yet. I was like, I want you to answer this live in front of everybody about your experience on your onstage answer. She is a client of ours inside of the Win a Pageant Academy. And she is the current Ms Petite USA. I had the dear pleasure of being live at her pageant when she won. We're sponsors. Win a Pageant is sponsors of the Petite USA Pageant. And so we got to be there live as she was being crowned, and we got to watch all of this incredible experience. It was so fun to work with Ms. Deborah Missy Scott. So I'm thrilled to invite her into our conversation today. Please welcome Miss Deborah Missy Scott. So happy to have you here today.
Hello.
Hello, gorgeous. It's so fun seeing you and the sash. I just love that we were able to support you throughout that entire process, and to be able to watch you be crowned on stage was such an absolute honor. And then to get to meet your family and stuff afterward. Yeah. Was just an absolute blast. So, Deborah, I got to first ask you, you've only been holding this title now for about just over a month. How has it been as a new title holder in month one?
Woo! You can prepare for it, but you don't know what it is until you're actually in it. And I said, if I win, this is what I want to do with my reign. I want to do X, Y, Z. And then you get hit with even more opportunities that you weren't even expecting. So it's been amazing so far.
That's so cool. Yeah. Well, you've just taken it and run with it. And I know that, that was really the plan as well, because you were like, I know I only have one short year. It's going to fly by. And so how do I make the most of this during the year? So I want to, if you would be willing to just start by sharing a little bit about Boundless, and share a bit about your platform, your legacy project, how it all came about. Share just a bit about that so people can get to know you more.
So I am in a completely different position than I was last year. Last year, I was working as a manager, and when my store closed down, I was faced with the decision to transfer to another store or to leave the company and take severance pay. I was like, I'm not sure. I need to think about this. There were rumors going around that the store would close, but I wasn't expecting it still when I received it. So I remember getting in my car and driving, and then all of a sudden, sun hit me and said, this is your moment. This is your opportunity. Because really, ever since I was a child, I wanted to act. I knew I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to be on TV. But I just went down another path thinking it was more safe and secure for me. So when I had this opportunity, I said, I can take this money and invest in my career and get some training and get headshots and see where it goes. So that's what I decided to do. I immediately got my headshots. And when I got my headshots, the photographer said, are you in training right now? I said, no. So she recommended a school for me. I got into this school. I was actually 1 week late after enrollment, but there was one seat left. So I was like, thank you. Thank you, God. Oh my gosh, I can get into this class. And then from there, I've just been accelerating in my career. I can't believe how fast everything is going. I recently got signed to a talent agency. And so now my purpose is to help others follow their dreams, because I know how it feels when you finally do it and how fulfilling it is. And I want other people to feel that same fulfillment. So that's where the idea of Boundless came from. I said, we can break any boundaries and overcome anything in order to follow our dreams. Because I believe if you have a dream inside of you, you are meant to live that out.
Amen, amen, amen. I love this story. Deborah, when you and I first met and you shared this story with me, I was like, my socks were blown off because I could not believe that you were willing to take that risk and to step into, you know what, I know that this is the dream. And now God is giving me this intersection of I have a choice. I could either chase my dream or go back to safety. And you were like, I'm going to chase the dream. And look what's happened as a result in such a short amount of time. Now, and it's not magic. I know that, Deborah. Like, I know this is not magic. It is God's grace because the wind is at your back, pushing you forward when you've got God on your side. But I also know it's been a massive amount of saying yes, of leaning into the things that you know that you've needed and saying like, yep, I'm going to try that. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to do that. What has been some of those moments that you look back on and think, wow, I can't believe I actually said yes to this thing. From the beginning, I know you finally said yes to like, okay, I'll take the check and let me go pursue my life. But what are some of the other things you've had to say yes to along the way?
Okay, one was starting this pageant. I am new to pageantry. So before this pageant, I was in one pageant that was really small, and the only person in my category was me. So I didn't have any competition, and I felt good when I was on stage. So I thought I might explore another pageant. So when I seen this pageant, I said, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm new to pageantry, and I know there's so much I have to learn. But because I felt so strong about sharing my mission with as many people as possible, I said yes. Starting my legacy project with my YouTube channel, that was different for me because although I like to be in front of the camera, I'm a character when I'm in front of the camera. I'm not myself, sharing my journey and my personal story. So that was different for me to break down that layer and to really be authentic with the audience and show my journey, the ups and the downs.
I remember that call. I remember on a office hour session that you were like, you know what? This is different because right now I'm being me. And ordinarily, I'm able to play the part of someone else. And I remember that. And I was like, yeah, but you're so cool, Deborah. You need to just be you, And like, look what it's done for you. It's just absolutely.
No, I love it. I'm like, I got to do another episode.
Yeah, totally. It's going great. Yeah. It's just incredible to see what you've done. Well, I would love to be able to share. I know you sent the video of your on-stage question and answer. So I'd love to be able to share that with our audience now so that they can see how and it's good to know a little bit about understanding your background. What we're going to be talking about, everybody, is the strategy that we employ inside of the Academy and how Deborah was able to put it into action here. So what you're going to be able to see right now is you're going to be blown off. Your eyelashes are going to be blown away because you're going to see how awesome it is to see an onstage question and then watch her knock it out of the park. And then we're going to unpack how she was able to do that. All right, so let's check out this video.
Ms. Pennsylvania Petite, as a state title holder, what have you done and are you doing to make your state a better place to live?
I believe that it is necessary to follow your dreams because that is the way that you're going to be the most fulfilled. So far, I empowered over 4,500 people through my YouTube channel, my podcast series, and by sharing the game that I created to empower the youth. If crowned, I plan to take that game on a national tour to 10 different states to reach children from all different backgrounds. And I will tell them that boundaries do not exist because they are boundless.
Thank you, Ms. Pennsylvania Petite.
Ooh la la! That was so good! I still get chills watching that video, and I can only imagine how you feel. I want to get your reaction to this experience. What was it like to be, we'd been doing so much preparation, but then as you were walking on stage preparing for the top 5 question and then receiving that question and then giving your answer and then floating away as you did, what was going through your mind during all of this?
Woo. So, as I learned in the Academy, the first question is always a throwaway question because you're warming up. So you're not going to give your strongest answer. So when I was backstage and I heard the other contestants before me answering their questions, I was answering their questions in my head at backstage. So I heard a question and I was like, I would answer it like this. I would answer it like this. So by the time it was my time to go up on stage, and I think I was third. So when the two people went in front of me, I answered their question. And then when I got there and I received my question, I was like, this is what I want to tell you, judges, before you make your final decision. So as I was saying it and the words were coming out, I was just imagining the kids that I want to see on this national tour. And I was imagining that I was just talking to them. So I said, keep going. Keep going, because it's not just for me, it's for them. So I get emotional watching it because I remember what I was thinking while I was answering it.
It's so cool to think, I love that you did the warm up backstage. I tell people all the time, you got to warm up, and so frequently we forget to do that. And so then the very first question that you're actually answering is the question that's in front of the audience. And it's like, no, you should have warmed up backstage,
Yeah.
It's, yes. Yeah. So I love that you actually employed that. That makes perfect sense to me. And I love that you had the vision of the ultimate impact of what your legacy project is really doing for people. That was the thing that you were seeing in your mind's eye, that it wasn't all about you and all about glorifying Deborah, but it was about the impact that you're having on others, and that this moment was really for them and about sharing all the things that you had for them. So let's talk a bit about the strategy itself. Some of my listeners have heard what we call the promise, proof, and plan, which is many stages into the Academy. After branding and after developing a legacy project and a heart story, we then land on this piece that you shared in your onstage answer, the promise, proof, and plan. So it almost feels like you were able to use the answer that you had. You could have probably applied it to many questions. Was that the answer that you were practicing even backstage to the other questions?
Absolutely, because I knew I had to get this out. During interview, I got some of it out, but not all of it. I didn't get out my plan. So I said, I'm going to tie my plan into anything that they ask me. I'm going to answer the question and tie that in, because it's like a box. This is my box. I'm boundless. I'm helping children. This is what I'm doing. And as long as you have all that information in that box, the judges are really able to connect you, and you can just say that or anything. So yeah, I had it in my mind. It doesn't matter what they ask me. This is what the answer is going to be.
Yes, that's brilliant. And you nailed it so well. And all of our clients at the Petite system, they really did knock it out of the park with this strategy. And it's so fun to watch. And even Trinity and Nicole, who I was sitting in the audience with, and Nancy was there as well, of course, crowning her successors. And it was fun to all of us be sitting there. And of course, we know the whole strategy is that we all know what you're going to answer and you're on stage. We're not shocked. We know exactly what you're about to say. What the interesting, fun part is how you're going to tie it from the question to the thing that you're going to answer. And, that's the whole strategy, is that you've got, yeah, exactly. And that's like the art. That's what we practice inside of the Academy after we develop the sound by itself, is like, okay, now how do we do? So when you first landed on your promise, proof, and plan, was it pretty seamless for you? Did it feel easy for you to be able to relate that back to an onstage answer? Or was that something that you felt like, no, I needed a little bit more practice with that? How was that for you personally? I know it's different for everybody.
Yeah, well, it took me a while really to decide what my plan was. My plan actually was changed like a little before the pageant, maybe like 2 weeks, honestly. I had took the Boundless Challenge, to a community arts center, and I seen how the kids reacted to it. And then when I got back to you all, you were like, you know what? I think that is your legacy project, because I was thinking it's the YouTube channel, it's the podcast series where I'm interviewing people, and I need to get some more numbers around that. But I said, you know what? I think that is where I need to be. So once I had that solidified, it was easy to tie everything in, because that's why you're there. That should really be the easiest question for you to answer. Why are you here? What have you been doing? You should all know the answer to that question, like the back of your hand.
That's such good advice. And you know what? Honestly, Deborah, that's the question that most women show up to their pageant and have the least amount of knowledge or answers around. And so that's definitely an area we focus on in the academy. Like you're saying, that is vital. It's the whole point you're there. Like, what are you even doing here? You know, it's like you have to understand what that answer is so that you truly know your mission. And thank you for your honesty and sharing that, like, look, this stuff doesn't just like fall in. This was not an easy thing. There's this great thing that's like a trend right now on, I guess it would be Instagram, but maybe TikTok too, where it's talking about how, like, when something looks easy, the reason that it's easy is because somebody has put in countless hours of hard work to make it look easy. And like your onstage answer, it looked so easy, almost like you got an easier question. Oh, well, she got the easiest question. Of course she got an easy question. And so often when we're not skilled in doing an onstage answer, we don't know the strategy behind it. We just think that, oh, that girl got an easier question. No, she made it look easy because of all of the work and all of the effort and all of the openness to be coachable and the change. You know, we often say, and Deborah, I know that you've experienced this many times, that action is what leads to clarity. And so often we want the clarity first because we're like, well, just tell me what. No, you got to take action first. And Deborah, you did such a beautiful job of that in all of the pieces. Even like you said, like, well, I'm used to being a character. Now I have to actually be myself. But then when you were, it opened up a whole new series of things. And then that's where Boundless came from. And then this is where all these other, and it went from inspiring people within the entertainment industry to like, no, this is actually for youth around the world. This is for everybody. Everybody can pursue their dreams no matter what it is. So it did over the few. Now, how many months were you in the program for a full 6 months before you competed? I feel like it was less. Okay.
I started in January. Okay. I actually received my state title in late December. Oh, it was like a month and a half before I got a response saying I was Miss Pennsylvania. I was like, oh, I guess I didn't get it. And then once I got in, I said, okay, I need to get in the academy right away. That was a whole process too.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that process for you.
So I knew I was going to need training, and in that time frame, I had started watching you online, but I didn't know if that was a good fit because the academy seemed like it was for women that were already established. And I said, no, I need someone that can really focus on me, maybe someone that's even in person. I don't know how this online thing is going to work. I like in-person stuff. And then I realized that I've already been watching these videos. I'm learning from these videos. I trust Alicia. I need to be in the academy. So once I got in the academy, I made a conscious decision to be coachable because I knew I needed the help. And I'm the type of person that doesn't like to ask for help, that likes to do things on my own. So I had to completely humble myself in this process and say, you know what? They're here to help. It's okay to ask. And the more I know, the more comfortable and the more confident I will be at nationals.
Yes, that is so beautiful. And I remember you'd shared that with me before, that you had said like, Alicia has like all these thousands of followers on YouTube and stuff. Like there's no way she's going to be able to talk to me. Like, and then the very first thing after you joined was I was like, oh, Deborah, I haven't met Deborah yet. And I was like, Deborah, hi. Hey, let's jump on a call. And you were like, okay. And it was like instantly, we just scooped you right up and tucked you under our little wing there. Yep.
Great
and
experience.
And you truly were coachable. That makes a big difference. You know, like you said, some women that they just want to say, nope, I'm good. I'll figure it out on my own. And sometimes you can. It just usually takes a lot longer.
A long time.
And so you knew I only have these 6 months. So I need to get to the finish line as fast as I possibly can. And you joined right away and dove in and started making moves immediately. Yeah.
I utilized so many resources out of the academy. I watched pageant videos. I had interviews with myself. When I went to visit the children at the Community Arts Center, that gave me an opportunity to speak in front of people. That is so important. When you have someone interviewing you one-on-one, that's great. But if you're talking about being prepared for an on-stage question, you need to practice that. Physically being in front of a group of people and talking and answering questions, that's going to help you too.
That's excellent advice. And even built into the academy, we have those opportunities with office hours. You know, some people, they just feel shy, even on a Zoom call, to be able to speak up or to ask a question or to lean in or to share an update and things like that. And so the way that the academy is structured, allowing those office hours to happen every single week, and we invite people in with specific things to present in front of that group, it allows you to get that experience and that practice. And then, like you said, doing it even online is where, you know, you started kind of getting it started with your online videos and stuff. And then to take that in person, it's every little step made it set you up for success. It made a huge difference in that. Yeah. That's an excellent key. Is like, you can't just be hiding and then all of a sudden expect that you're going to show up on stage and knock it out of the park. Yeah, exactly. That's right. That's totally right. I love that. So talk a little bit more about your in-person workshops, and even I know you're doing online workshops too. Can you share a bit about your vision? Because perhaps there are some people listening here that are inspired by you and encouraged by what you're sharing that may have an audience that you could be interested in connecting with. Because share a little bit about your tour.
Yes, absolutely. So I created this game for children called the Boundless Challenge because although I have my YouTube channel and I have my podcast series, it's not really directed towards children. And I know that is really my core audience. So I said, what can I do for children to get them excited about empowerment and following their dreams? So I created this game called the Boundless Challenge, and it makes them stand in front of their classmates and do different challenges like dancing or singing, even giving me a model walk. And then I have a category called boundaries. And I give them a situation and I say something like, Maria has to study for her test, but she has to babysit her 2 brothers. What should Maria do? And so the kids work together and say, you know, they could watch TV, have the kids watch TV so she can study, put them to sleep so she can study, or everyone studies together. And I say, great, you know, that's 3 solutions and you get the points. For many of the children, that's real life situations for them. And when they see that they're working together with their peers and they can overcome these boundaries and they're doing stuff in front of the class and they're getting cheers and applause, they feel more empowered at the end. And I ask them about takeaways, and then I give them these really cool wristbands that says, I am boundless, because it's really important for me to give them something that's tangible. So they remember the game, and they also can look down at the wristband and say, hey, I remember when she came to me and said, I'm boundless. This is so cool. So they can really remember that throughout their days and throughout their journey. So I decided to take that game on a national tour during my reign. I've already visited one community arts center before I was crowned, and I plan to go to different cities and play this game with the kids. I'm really excited about that. It's really important for me to be diverse in this tour and reach children from different backgrounds, social economic statuses, because really all of these children have a dream. Everyone has a dream. It doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is, and I would empower all of them to live their dream.
Yes, this is beautiful. And this is exactly what we should be doing as pageant women, is to be raising up the other people around us.
Yes.
And you are such a shining example of being a role model. It's incredible to watch you. So I want to take some questions if you have a little bit more time, Deborah, because I'm sure our audience has some questions for you. So I asked in the chat, if anybody has got questions, go ahead and pop them into the chat right now. Rhonda is asking about branding. So how did you land on your brand?
Okay, so I had to think about what I wanted to do and what was my objective. And it is a process. For some people, it comes faster. For me, it really was a journey because before this pageant, I really wasn't active on social media. I just was on it here and there, but I was actually thinking about deleting it, in fact. But once I discovered what my actual purpose was in this pageant and the mission that I wanted to use, everything started to fall into place. So I would say first, think about what you want to do, what your strengths are, where your heart really lies, and then just play around with a few different things, and then it'll start to come together.
That's beautiful and oversimplified, but yes, that's the strategy, right? It really, yes, it really is a process, and Deborah was a phenomenal student doing the things, everything that she was instructed to do. And that's the process that we follow, which is you go through the playbook. We ask a bunch of questions to dig up. Like she said, all those background pieces are a part of who you are from the past. And we've got to bring those into what's a piece of your past, your present, and where you're going in the future. And then to find that kind of connection. And you did do that. It is a process that it really requires that reflection and that effort to dig into it. And it does surface. So that was beautifully said. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Crystal is asking, how do you go about finding appearances?
Okay, so once you determine what your actual mission is, your appearances will reflect that. So there's going to be a lot of things that come your way and a lot of things you might be interested in, but it's so important to manage your time and make sure that it's touching on your platform. So for me, I had my year planned out before I won. So it's important to do that. So when you're in the position of being a queen, you're not looking around and saying, oh, I got to do this, I got to find that, because time is going to fly. And then when your reign is over, you're going to be like, I could have did so much more. So first, establish what you want to do, then plan that out and have that all ready to go, because once you win, it's going to fly. I can't believe it's already been a month.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. And it sounds like your legacy project is the thing that helps you get in the door. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Your legacy project.
Mm-hmm.
Got to have that all established.
Yep, that's great. Tina is asking kind of a follow-up question to that. How did you find a venue and an audience to do your workshops and stuff in?
Yeah, so you have to be proactive. Look up things online, send emails. I make phone calls all the time. So I had a little spiel already outlined about what I was going to say before I got on the call with someone. Because a lot of times people are like, all right, get to the point. How can you help us? Is that within our means right now? Okay, just have a list and just keep going. You can't be afraid to put yourself out there, because sometimes people are going to come to you, but it's really important for you to be proactive. And that's why it's so important to have that legacy project, because that's really going to propel you to get out of your comfort zone and say, hey, I'm doing this for a bigger cause.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Someone's asking about fundraising, particularly for coaching. I'm wondering if that was ever something that you did or needed to do, or did you feel always like, oh, I got all kinds of money, I can spend it on anything? How was that for you? I'm sure you also had to think through like what was going to be the most valuable investment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
So initially I had a budget and I said, what do I need to focus on? And for me, the training was so important and I knew everything else would fall in line. So I had the money allocated for the training. And then after that, I really started putting myself out there and sharing what my mission was and what my goal was overall. And then people see you out there doing the work, you start to get recognized. But you have to do the work. So I would say first, think about what you really need, where you want to focus your money at, and then once you start taking some action into your promise, your proof, your plan, all of that, people will start noticing you, and you can have more leeway to say, hey, would you mind giving me a discount for this, or would you mind donating? But you have to do the work, because if you show up to somebody and you're just like, it's like, well, what are you doing? What have you done? And that's how I got a lot of my interviews actually for my podcast, just really networking.
That is so true. Yes. Nobody wants to just see the hand like, okay, give me. It's like, wait a second. No, well, what are you doing? What's in it for me? Yeah.
Start doing something.
That's right.
There's so many things that you can do to promote yourself and your legacy. You just have to find it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, being diligent and just doing the work. I think you're right that so often we want it to be easy. We want it to be just because we think if it's hard, then it's not meant to be. But actually, everything that anybody ever gets is often through a series of really hard work. And you are a shining example of that, Deborah. All of the things that the decisions that you've had to make were not easy decisions. And the stuff that you had to make up out of thin air, like, okay, I got to make up a YouTube channel, and okay, now I got to make up this thing. And it was all of these things that you had to create and build. The beautiful part is that we are made in God's image and that He is the great creator. So we know we've got the power to do it. And you did such a beautiful job of that throughout your entire reign. Crystal is asking if she could see the crown. She's like, I got to see the crown. Could you share with us your crown?
Yes, you can see the crown. So in this box, I have actually two. So I have my state crown.
And the Petite system has beautiful crowns. Yes, that's the state crown, right?
This is when I was Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And this is the money right here.
Feel free to put it on.
My national. Put it on. The national.
Just for a moment. That's beautiful. Yes,
it is huge.
It is a big crown. It is a huge crown. It's so beautiful, though. Yes, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, absolutely lovely. Wow. Well, Deborah, maybe you could just leave us with a few words about the Petite pageant system and maybe where people can find and follow your reign.
Sure. So the Petite pageant system is great. It gave me an opportunity that I never thought I had because of my height and because of my age. It's for women that are 5'6" and under, and that petite refers to height, not dress size. So it's also for women who are 13 years old and older. There's literally a category for anybody. You can have children, not have children. It's a very supportive system, and Jenna, our director, is really great. She's easy to talk to, and she's very supportive. And you can find me at Deborah Missy Scott on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. My official page for the Petite system is Ms Petite USA, and that can be found on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Deborah, for your time here. It's truly an honor to see the work that you are doing, having been a part of the process of developing all the big plans that we had for your reign. And so often it happens where when a woman wins, she just gets busy and like all the plans kind of fall flat. But you are leaning in. And despite the fact that you are going to continue to grow in your career, you're going to continue to grow in all of the areas of service that you do within your title. Now you're preparing for the international pageant, the universal pageant.
That's exciting.
Yes, it is. There's so many pieces going on for you. And yet you haven't forgotten to keep the main thing, to keep the focus on the children that you are attempting to impact anyway. That's what this is all about. So I just love what you are doing. Thank you for your willingness to share all your secrets
Thank you
here.
for having me.
Yes, absolutely. It is such a delight to have you. Thank you again, Deborah, for being on. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
My pleasure. Oh my gosh. Isn't she great? Are you starstruck? She's so fabulous. And you know what I love about Deborah is this is the same Deborah that was on all of our Zoom calls. Like, she's not fake. She doesn't show up any different. She's not all like, oh, well, now I'm a queen, so now I am like touchless, you know? No, she is so available. She is so willing to share. She has been like this throughout the entire time in the academy, or full 6 months in the academy. And I'm so pumped that we get to work with her as she prepares for her universal pageant as well. It's incredible, the work that she has done. Thank you again for being on with us. I appreciate you girls so much, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.